Hello guys, welcome to day number 21 of a 90-day challenge for the law of attraction. Today we're going to talk about our intellectual factors, and especially today we're going to talk about reasoning. So should we get started? Welcome back guys, this is Miguel Olvera on day 21 of the 90-day challenge for the law of attraction, and today we have a very special video that I want to share with you in terms of intellectual factors. Today we're going to talk about reason, one of the 6 intellectual factors that we have, and I spoke about some of them in previous videos. I believe yesterday, the day before yesterday, we talked about those. So I want to expand a little bit in terms of what, the reasoning factor it's all about. I'm going to be using some illustration along with my best friend, the stick person behind me. And we're going to discuss some things that will probably make more sense to you after we finish. Okay, so we started talking about the mind. The mind is divided into 2. As we spoke before, we have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the intellectual mind. That's when you gather or you have all your information. When you go to school, that's when you keep all that information, all the books, all the graphics, all the information that you had to memorize for math, formulas, etc. That's what we get to develop when we are in school. The conscious mind. That's where all the encyclopedia that I call in our mind, it stores all that information there. But that's not the part of the mind that actually get this part of us, the body, to do anything. So it is very important that we differentiate the 2. The other one down here is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the emotional part of our mind. That's when we have all our feelings, emotions, all our desires. Remember on day 13 we talked about the training balance scale, and one side being the how and the other side being the feelings. This is exactly what I was trying to talk about back then, and I'm just again trying to illustrate it better in this instance. So if you are not quite sure, go back to day 13 of the 90-day challenge where I talk about the training balance scale, and I go more in depth in regards to how the conscious and the subconscious mind work. One being side A and side B. So you will be able to differentiate both right there. But for right now, for sake of time, I don't want to get into that discussions. I just want to make sure that you understand what the conscious is, the intellectual mind, and the subconscious is the emotional mind. All right. So what we also what I want to explain to you that the conscious mind thinks in 2 ways, or reasons in 2 ways. Actually, I want to make sure that I change that think into reasoning, because that's what we're doing. When we're actually saying that we're thinking, we are reasoning and we're comparing. So we reason in 2 ways. One is inductively and the other one is deductively. Inductively is when you actually sitting down or actually thinking, reasoning, comparing, bringing from the ether all the information that you can, researching, making sure that you get all the facts, okay? That's inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is when you are wide open, you're not paying attention, you're not thinking, you're just going on autopilot, and you're just letting people and circumstances dictate how you feel, okay? Let me just give you a little example so you know what I'm talking about. Let's represent this. It is a square or a bar of iron, a bar of steel. Okay? There's a story about that bar of steel that this person had in his house. he just recently lost his job and he didn't know what to do. So he had this bar of iron or steel in his garage, and he was thinking, he was reasoning, what should I do with this? It's been sitting in my garage forever. I know I can do something, or I can, create something out of it. So he was reasoning, he was thinking, he was bringing from the ether, or he was researching and trying to figure out what to do with this bar of iron, or with this bar of steel that he had in his garage. So after, thinking and researching things like that, he came up with an idea. He came up with this idea that he could do kitchen knives with that bar of iron. So he investigated and he went to work, and he thought and he created all these knives, and he sold, or he was able to create enough knives and sell them, and got $250 out of that piece of iron that he got for $5 a long time ago. So he multiplied his money, and he got $250 out of that bar of iron that he purchased for $5. So he went into business, and he went and bought another bar of iron. He made more kitchen knives. He got another $250, and so on and so forth. Not bad, right? Not bad. But here comes another guy later on. He was in the same predicament, okay, or kind of similar predicament, and he had this bar of iron that he bought for $5 also. So he says, well, that guy is selling kitchen knives out of this. What else can I do? I don't want to compete with him. I don't want to, do the same thing that he's been doing. What else can I do? So he did more research. He did more reasoning. He studied a little bit more. And guess what he came up with? He came up with this idea to create balance springs for Rolex watches. Rolex watches, most of them are mechanical, so they use a little balance spring, okay, for it to work. And guess how much he sold that for? $250,000 out of the same $5 bar of iron. So the point of the story is this: how much, or what can you do if you are actually thinking or reasoning and using this same bar of iron that we have here? Would you just come up with an idea and just let it go and just say, okay, $250, that's good enough? Or will you do the second example that I described and study a little bit more, research a little bit more, reason a little bit more, and come up with a better idea, okay, and create the spring, the spring for your watch, or for watches, for Rolex watches, and sell the same bar of iron or bar of steel for $250,000. I want you to think of you guys as this bar of iron or this bar of steel. Okay? I want you to think of you like that. I want you to start reasoning and see what can you do with your life, with your mind, with your opportunity here on earth. What can you do with it? You're not just, let it sit and just consider yourself $5 bar of steel? Or you're going to think a little bit and then just create kitchen knives and sell them for $250? Or you actually going to reason a little bit more and sell it for $250,000? This is just comparing $5 being, I don't want to insult anybody, but just living on welfare or on unemployment. The $250 getting a job. Or the $250,000 starting your own business and really see what you can do. That is exactly what I'm trying to illustrate here, okay? The deductive side is just letting circumstances and letting other people tell you what to do. And everything, I just want to make sure that you understand, everything that gets in the conscious mind, once you pass it to the subconscious mind, automatically the body is going to act on it. We will be talking more about that later, but I just want to keep that in mind. Whatever you put in your conscious mind and you transfer to the subconscious mind, the body is going to react. The body is just an instrument of the mind. Today we talked about the intellectual factors and how we reason. Tomorrow we have a fantastic day. We will be talking about the will, another intellectual factor. I want to thank you guys for sticking with me for 21 days, and I want to be very, very grateful for what you're doing and spending the time, especially today. I know it went a little long than normal, but I want to make sure that I explain this in a little detail. I know I cannot go in a lot of detail, but I want to give you at least some information. If you have any friends or any relatives or anybody who you will think it will benefit from this, please invite them in. Tell them all about it. Subscribe. Put some comments on the bottom. Make sure that you turn on notifications on the top so you know when I'm posting the next video. Thank you for your time, guys. I'm really grateful for that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.